Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihar Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Jai Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Madhava Radha Jai Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada की जय श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नित्यं नरोत्तमं श्रुतिं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् स्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तियोगति मे स्तुति कृष्णे सुदां भगवते रमजान विदिशा प्लवनसरितानि स प्रणतोदनोदिता Today reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, text number 33. Edarahitamatmanam agunasaye Swarupena mayopetam Pasyan swarajyamrichati Edarahitamatmanam Bhutendriya gunasaye Swarupena mayopetam Pasyan swarajyamrichati Edarahitamatmanam गुणाशये स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वराज्यमिच्छति यदा रहितमात्मानं भूतेन्द्रियगुणाश्रये स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वराज्यमिच्छति यदानं भूतेन्द्रियगुणाश्रये स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वराज्यमिच्छति यदा रहितमात्मानं गुणाश्रये स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वराज्यमिच्छति. Word by word translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yada, when, rahitam, freed from, atmanam, self, bhuta, material elements, indriya, material senses, guna asraye, under the influence of the material modes of nature. Swarupena, in pure existence. Maya, by me. Upetam, approaching. Pasyan, by seeing. Swarajyam, spiritual kingdom. Richati, enjoy. Translation, when you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are freed from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness. Please repeat. When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are freed from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness. Brahma's prayers are continuing now. Lord is telling something, some of the instructions to Lord Brahma, revealing this spiritual association. The Lord is revealing this, this kind of realization in the hearts of Lord Brahma. So today's verse is Supreme Lord telling Brahma how he realizes the Supreme. When you are free from conception of gross and subtle bodies. Gross body made of earth, water, fire, ether, air, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Subtle bodies are mind and intelligence, and behind the mind and intelligence, the soul and the super soul. So he says, after you are free from conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when the senses are free from all influence of the modes of material nature. Three modes of material nature and ignorance. So we have to be free from gross and subtle bodies and also free from the influence of the modes of nature. Modes of nature is very difficult to overcome because they influence the material body and mind and senses. So when we are free from these two, gross and subtle bodies and influence of the modes of nature, then only we can realize your pure form. And that is possible by Lord's association because Brahma is all alone. Brahma has no other devotee to associate at this point, so he's associating with the Supreme Lord. So he says, in my association, you will realize your pure form. The pure soul is untouched by modes of material nature, and pure soul is also free from gross and subtle bodies. Avyaktoye machintyoye mavikaryoye muchyate. How is the soul? Soul is avyakta, achintya, inconceivable, and abhikarya. It's free from all material things. Abhikari. So this way the soul is free from all kind of influences. So when one gets the association of the Lord, one can free himself from the modes of material nature and also from the gross and subtle bodies. And then in the association of the Supreme Lord, it's easy for a person to realize him. And such situation, Lord says, you will be situated in pure consciousness. That is the pure consciousness. Sometimes we feel proud. Oh, we are free from everything. We have realized God. But here Lord says we have to be free from gross and subtle bodies and also the modes of material nature. Unless we are free from modes of material nature, we can't be pure consciousness. So becoming pure consciousness is very hard. It's not easy because we always have a conception, I am this body is mine, and the senses are mine, and these things, various possessions are our mind. This way we realize we haven't fully realized the Supreme Person. So as long as that remains, we are not in pure consciousness. We are still a mixed concept of consciousness, mixed with modes of nature, mixed with gross and subtle body conception. So this way, our consciousness is not completely pure. Purport. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that a person whose only desire is to render transcendental loving service to the Lord is a free person in any condition of material existence. That service attitude is the Swarupa or real form of the living entity. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasutati Nakankseti. Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Lavate Param. This is how Bhagavad Gita tells. The Lord is telling to render loving devotional service, one has to be free from it. From person has to be situated in real form. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also confirms this statement by declaring that the real spiritual form of the living entity is eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. Jiver Swarup Hai Nitya Krishna Das. So what is our real Swarupa? We are eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that we are not this body, but our actual position, what we supposed to do is we supposed to serve the Supreme Lord all the time. That is the actual real form. It's sometimes very confusing. What is our real position? What we supposed to do? It's a confusing sometimes that we are doing these various activities, but we don't know what we supposed to do in reality. So reality is our actual position is we are eternally servitor. We supposed to serve the Supreme Lord with love. Jiver Swarup Hai, Nitya Krishna Das means is eternally this service. We should eternally serve the Supreme Lord. That is our actual position. Living spiritual form of the living entity is eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. The Mayavada uh, school shudders at the thought of a service attitude in the living entity, not knowing that in the transcendental world the service of the Lord is best and transcendental love. In the spiritual kingdom where God dwells, there everybody is serving. Not that once we reach there we have no more service. We are stopped from all sorts of service. No. When you reach to the eternal kingdom of God, there also living entities, whoever are there, are all serving. Radharani is serving Krishna, and all other devotees are engaged in the service of Radharani or his or associates. So this is how spiritual kingdom is. There also, if we look at the uh, life of Vaishnava acharyas like Sada Goswamis and other whoever come in line of this split succession, if you see their life, they all always wanted to become the servant of gopis. Why they want to become the servant of the gopis? Because this thousand petals lotus is there in the spiritual kingdom, and it is explained that this thousand petals lotus are the in charge of these thousand petals are all different gopis. They own these various thousand petals. And then these gopis are the main principal gopis that serve the Supreme Lord. They serve the Radharani, and Radharani serves the Krishna. So even when we reach over there, we all engage in some sort of service to the either the gopis or the servant of the gopis. You don't get to serve the Lord directly over there. The Lord is served by Radharani alone. But when you serve the other gopis, the other gopis serve Radharani and Radharani serve Krishna. This is how service is complete. So if you look at the lives of Vaishnava Acharyas, all these six Acharyas, six Shara Goswamis, they were all gopis, always wanting to serve the Radharani. He Radhe Brajadevike Talalite Hinanda Suno Kuta. They are always praying, when you will put us in the service of Radharani. They are always praying. So if you look at what happened, what form they achieved after the mortal world is over, you will see that they all become gopis. Rupa Goswami become the Rupa Manjari. Same way other various Goswamis become the various gopis in Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. So Narottam Das Thakur uh, serves the Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari in spiritual form. If you look at the bhajan, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, this is how he sing in the Vaishnava bhajan. Why he says Sri Rupa Manjari Pada? Because he is going to become the servant of Rupa Manjari. And Rupa Manjari serves the Lalita Devi, and Lalita Devi serves the Radharani. So this is how even over there is a line of devotees who serve each other. So this is how service is there in the spiritual consciousness, spiritual atmosphere. We are not bereft of service. It's all sorts of service that's there, and once our relationship is established, we will be placed in over there in a spiritual atmosphere, and we serve associates of Radharani. So this is how. uh, spiritual consciousness uh, is mentioned. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions that we all serve the Supreme Lord eternally. Our relationship with Jiver Swarupai Nitya Krishna Das, or we are eternally the servant of Lord Krishna. Not knowing that in the transcendental world the service of the Lord is based on transcendental love. Transcendental loving service is never to be compared to the forced service of the material world. Everybody is working by force. We have to pay our rent. Unless we go and work hard, we cannot pay the rent, so people are forced to work in the material world. They have to pay the rent and they have to pay so many other bills. That's why everybody is forced to work. So Mayabada school tells that just like here we are forced to work, so spiritual consciousness may be same way, but it's not like that. Spiritual consciousness is different. In the material world, even if one is under the conception that is no one's servant, he is still the servant of the senses under the dictation of the material modes. People are working hard, driven by their material senses. Material senses desires various necessities, and to fulfill these necessities, person continually strives hard, working hard day and night. So he is servant of his senses. If he is not working for anybody, he is working for his senses. Actually, no one is master here in the material world. Even if you are not serving anybody, you are not the master because your senses are there and your senses drives you to do some service. And therefore, the servant of the senses have a very bad experience of servitude. So the person is a servant of the senses, and servant of the senses had a bad experience because he has to work hard here and result is very little. The result is so small, almost no result. Person works hard. So that's why we have bad experience here in the material world that we work hard to fulfill our senses and the senses never get fulfilled. So that's why bad experience we collect. They shudder at the thought of service because they have no knowledge of the transcendental position. So Mayavadis or people in general, people think that just like here, there is no love in the spiritual atmosphere also. Just like here, we work hard day and night, but the actual fulfillment of the senses is very little. The same way, people in general think that if we do the service of the Lord, it may be the same thing, but it's not same thing, it's different. In transcendental loving service, the service servitor is as free as the Lord. So this is how service becomes very beautiful when we reach to the spiritual world. That service is a beautiful, loving service is a different relationship. It's forever increasing, never going down. Over here, if you love someone and you try to fulfill his desires of his senses, it's very temporary. Sometimes he is happy, but other time he is not happy. But serving the Lord is different. If you serve the Lord, the happiness is ever increasing. That's why we like to serve the Lord more and more. The more we serve, the better and better spiritual happiness the Lord provides, and this way it is ever increasing and ever increasing, never going down. So it's beautiful. The Lord is Swarat or fully independent, and the servant is also fully independent or Swarat in the spiritual atmosphere because there is no forced service. So it's very clear like how Lord is always independent and the servant who serves the Lord is also independent. There is no forced service in the spiritual atmosphere. If you don't want to serve the Lord, then it explains how this for that person does not stay in the spiritual planet. He comes down in the material planet. But as long as we are there and our service is there, then it's all beautiful. Everybody is freed. Although we are doing service, we are not bound. Here we do service, but we are bound by rules and regulations and many other nature. But in the spiritual atmosphere, there is no such thing. We are freed from all sorts of, mm, and then service is also very beautiful, and everything is at spiritual because there is no forced service. There, the transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. What we see is like spontaneous, unbroken love. Unbroken love exists in the spiritual atmosphere, and that love is ever increasing, and that's how service is done out of love, and everything is based on love. There, the transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. A reflected glimpse of such service is experienced in the service of the mother unto the son, the friend service unto the friend, or the wife service unto the husband. Atmosphere sometimes mother loves the children. Mother usually always loves the children. So if the mother loves the son without expecting anything, that's kind of a glimpse of a spiritual love. But not really because mother also expects something from the son. But if the mother loves the son without any expectation, then that's a glimpse, a very a tiny fraction of the spiritual love that exists in the spiritual atmosphere. Also, a friend serves the friend or the wife serves the husband with love. Someone have experienced it, some uh, good friend serving the good friend or the good wife serving a good husband. There, the little bit of experience we can experience in material atmosphere, but it's very small. It's not the actual um, service attitude that remains in the spiritual atmosphere. Acts of service by friends, parents, or wives are not forced, but are only due only to love. So sometimes nobody is forcing the wife to love a husband, or nobody is forcing a friend to love another friend, or nobody is forcing the mother to love her child. But they are doing independently without any force. And then there we realize a little bit of the spiritual atmosphere. This is all done due to the love. Here in this material world, however, the loving service is only a reflection. This material world is also a reflection of the spiritual world, just like we were reading in Brahma's prayer, like how this whole material world is a reflection of the spiritual body of the Lord. So, and the loving tendency that we have over here is also a reflection. It's only a shadow of the spiritual love. The real love exists, that's why here is a small amount of love. The real form of the Lord exists, that's why we have material bodies. The reflection, the real spiritual world exists, that's why this material world exists, because of the reflection of the spiritual world. So same way, love also in the heart exists inside of us because there is a spiritual rasa in the spiritual atmosphere. That same rasa is reflected on mother loving a son, a wife loving a husband, or friend loving a friend. The real service or service in Swarupa is present in the transcendental world in association with the Lord. The very same service is transcendental love can be practiced in devotion here. So in our Sri Radha Madhava Hari ki jai, Srinath Gopal ki jai, Sri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Our Swarupa, then we experience the real love in the spiritual atmosphere. That real love that exists in the spiritual world has mm, a reflection over here, but transcendental love can be experienced a pure consciousness. When one becomes a actual pure devotee, then transcendental love can be experienced over here. But it's usually always mixed with various other modes of material nature. That's why it's very hard to achieve here. But when we practice devotional service, then that transcendental love can be experienced over here also. This verse is also applicable to the Jnani school. The enlightened Jnani, when free from all material contaminations, namely the gross and subtle bodies, together with the senses of the material modes of nature, is placed in the Supreme and is thus liberated from material bondage. So, Jnani person who have knowledge of the Supreme, he can be placed in the spiritual atmosphere if he realizes this verse. If he becomes free from material contaminations, just like gross subtle bodies, and material senses, if he becomes free from all these various conceptions, then Jnani also achieves the freedom of love. The Jnanis and the devotees are actually in agreement up to the point of liberation from material contamination. So Jnani person, the person who is in knowledge and devotees the same level. Unless one has knowledge, one cannot do devotional service. Devotees who are already doing service is the knowledge point. So they are both liberated from material bondage when they realize this verse. The Jnanis and the devotees are actually in agreement up to the point of liberation from material contamination. But whereas the Jnanis remain pacified on the platform of simple understanding, the devotees develop further spiritual advancement in loving service. The devotees develop a spiritual individuality in their spontaneous service attitude, which is enhanced on and on up to the point of Madhurya Rasa or transcendental loving service, reciprocated between the lover and the beloved. So devotees' love is ever increasing to the point where it becomes spontaneous. Various rasas are Madhurya Rasa uh, or various like servitude or friend as lover, various kind of rasas are there. But here Prabhupada mentions that mm, the top one is the Madhurya Rasa or between loved and beloved. That is a Madhurya Rasa, husband and wife love. In the spiritual atmosphere, they are all, the gopis are all wives of Lord Krishna. When the gopis were there in Vrindavan, they also said they prayed, they did the Katyayani Brata for over a month period, always taking bath in the cold water, and what they prayed, please make the son of Nanda our husband. So this is how they prayed. So same way in the spiritual atmosphere, all who achieve the gopi bhava, they they serve the Lord in uh, madhurya rasa. They become like the wives of the Lord, and then they serve the Lord with one pointed love. But it is not material husband and wife relationship. There is no lust involved or any other modes of material nature. It's all pure consciousness. The spiritual love is ever increasing, never going down. And then they all serve the Lord with Madhurya Rasa, the conjugal relationship, and it is ever increasing, never going down. We'll read on text 34. Nana karma vitanena praja banhi sishichat Natma Vasi Datyam Vimste Varshiyan Madanugraha. Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time. It's telling, giving the actual permission to increase the population in the material world. The Lord says, since you desire to increase the population innumerably, we can see there are living entities innumerably all over the universe. So same way Brahma is expecting to increase the population innumerably, desire in the heart. So this way, when you increase the service innumerably, there are varieties of service, because varieties of living entities are there and they do various kind of services. And in this, Lord says you will never be deprived of this service. The service you desire, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time. So the causeless mercy of the Lord is never decreasing for Brahma. He has given such a benediction to Brahma that the Lord's mercy will always increase, never goes down. That's why Brahma is coming in the scene throughout the all Bhagavatam episodes. Everywhere there is some activity, there is Lord Brahma. Because Brahma is a pure devotee, almost pure devotee of the Lord. So he always comes in scene whenever any spiritual activities are mentioned. So here the Lord gives the blessings to Brahma that you will always have my mercy ever increasing. Purport. Of the Lord being cognizant of the fact of the particular time, the object and circumstances, always desires to expand the number of devotion of the Lord in various ways. So what do devotees want to do? They want to increase the service in various ways. Uh, in various circumstances, various objects, and various time. In regard to this, the devotees always want to expand the number of service to the Supreme Lord. Transcendental service may appear to be material to the materialist, but factually they are expansions of the causeless mercy of the Lord toward the devotee. So a regular person only sees that these are only services, but person who has understood the knowledge of the Lord, these services are not material, they are spiritual and they always increase. So the expansion of transcendental service may appear to be material. They are doing some service in the temple and we are doing something else. It is the same. That's how a regular person will think, but it is not the same thing. Temple or service to the Lord is not same as material work that we do in the outer world. But factually, they are expansions of the causeless mercy of the Lord toward the devotee. Plans for such activities may appear to be material activities, but they are different in potency, being engaged in the satisfaction of the transcendences of the Lord Supreme. So they appear like the material, but they are not material, they are spiritual. Sometimes it appears that service in the temple or service any other service directed toward the Lord are also same like material, but it's not. It has a different potency. It is a spiritual potency because it is meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So that's why it has a different potency. The more we satisfy the Lord, the more closer one becomes to the Lord, and the more closer one becomes liberated from material conception. So that's why spiritual activities are never material; they are spiritual. So anything we do for the satisfaction of the deities or satisfaction of the Lord. So they are not material, they are spiritual, and its potency is different because it's going to liberate a person from this world. Hare Krishna. So today's verse, one is one is a blessing to Lord Brahma by Supreme Lord, and by my blessing, your love and your increasing the population will ever increase, and by the causeless mercy of the Lord, your service will always continue. And then the other verse is from gross and subtle bodies. I'll read the verse. When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influence of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness. When we get the association of the Lord, everything is pure, purified. So Brahma was alone, nobody was there with him. So in that at that time, he associated with the Supreme Lord. The Lord says, in my association, you will get a pure consciousness, and in that pure consciousness, you will expand living entities as much as you want because you want to increase population innumerably. So I always give you a blessing so you can perform this act without any hindrance. Hare Krishna. क्या बता रहे हम ब्रह्मा जी प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं ब्रह्मा जी को ब्रह्मा जी प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं और ब्रह्मा जी को आज भगवान ने ये ब्लेसिंग दिया कि तुम मेरे काम करो ऐसा संख्या जनसंख्या बढ़ाने में तुम सक्षम होगे और इसमें मैं सदा तुम्हारे लिए ब्लेसिंग देता रहूंगा ऐसा भगवान ने उन्हें ब्लेसिंग दिया हाँ हाँ क्योंकि भगवान के साथ संग करके उनका हृदय पूरा शुद्ध हो गया है तो ऐसा शुद्ध शुद्ध होने के कारण अब भगवान बता रहे हैं कि ये जो कार्य कर रहे हो ये मेरे ब्लेसिंग के कारण तुम ढंग से कर सकोगे क्योंकि ब्रह्मा जी का काम क्या है जनसंख्या बढ़ाना ये सारे पृथ्वी और बाकी जितने लोग हैं सब में जनसंख्या को जीव से भरना ये काम है ब्रह्मा जी का तो भगवान बता रहे हैं कि मैं ऐसा ब्लेसिंग देता हूँ कि जिससे तुम ये काम करते रहोगे क्योंकि तुम अभी शुद्ध हम्म, मेरा चिंतन मनन करके तुम्हारा हृदय शुद्ध हो गया है तो इस तरह से मैं ब्लेसिंग देता रहूंगा कि तुम्हारा हृदय शुद्ध होता रहेगा और इस तरह से जनसंख्या बढ़ती रहेगी चलो प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।